Now let's dive into the topic of insulin. Most of us hear this term and relate it to diabetes.
That's right, but it's important to know what insulin actually is.
Insulin is what we call a peptide hormone.
What?
Alright, don't panic. A peptide hormone basically means that it is a hormone made up of protein. Insulin is actually produced from the pancreas by what we call beta cells in the area called the pancreatic islet, which is this one right here. It is essential to our metabolic system because it helps regulate how the body uses energy from carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. It also helps the body circulate glucose in your blood by the liver and fat and muscle cells. So how this process starts is when you eat a meal, insulin is released by the pancreas in response to the level of glucose that is present in your bloodstream. It helps the liver and fat and muscle cells absorb and use the glucose. This glucose is when used as energy.
But there's actually something called insulin resistance, which occurs when the body stops responding to insulin and cells in the liver. After that, the muscles are unable to access the excess glucose circulating in the bloodstream. As a result, glucose builds up in the bloodstream, creating a condition called hyperglycemia, and if it is left unchecked, insulin resistance may actually lead to type 2 diabetes.
So let's back up just a bit. We know that insulin resistance causes type 2 diabetes, but what really causes insulin resistance?
What a great question. While there may be several causes for this, doctors suggest that insulin resistance is linked to obesity in a number of ways. So let's take a look at the vicious cycle that is insulin resistance. First, let's say that you have an unhealthy diet of, burgers, pizza, and other food that is high in fat.
What happens in our bodies is that when we eat a high-carb diet, the pancreas senses the blood sugar rising. Then it starts pumping insulin to get the blood sugar into the cells so that it can be used as energy. If this high-carb diet continues, the cells can actually stop responding to the insulin. Meanwhile, blood sugar keeps rising. This is what we call insulin resistance.
People who are insulin resistant actually tend to have increased hunger, and as we know, this may lead to weight gain.
Exactly. And you may not know this, but stomach fat or adipose fat actually upsets the insulin process, which leads to inflammation.
So it's a vicious cycle of your body storing away fat, yet always feeling hungry, all at the same time.
How is this directly linked to cancer, you may ask? Insulin resistance increases your risk of cancer because it increases fat storage, particularly around your waist. Weight gain leads to inflammation, and this affects our hormone production, which in fact increases our risk for cancer. Long-term insulin resistance can lead to breast, prostate, and colorectal cancer.
But no need to panic, because we're here to show you some of the signs to look out for to see if you may be prone to insulin resistance.
Whoa, how'd you do that?
Special effects. Cool, huh?
Very fancy. Some of the signs to look out for is if your waistline is over 40 for men and over 35 in women, high blood pressure, elevated fasting blood glucose, high triglycerides, low LDL, and even skin tags.
Those are some good things to look out for. And most importantly, let's prevent insulin resistance from happening in our bodies. Some ways that we can do that is by reducing our body fat,
getting or staying physically active,
and eating a plant-based diet that is low in sugar and saturated fat.
Now we have seen ways in which insulin resistance may cause cancer. Join us in the next section where we see how these things may cause DNA damage.